Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Big Champ, here for another episode of Dot Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 21. We're going to be talking about cyber practices, cyber attacks. We're going to be talking to you about Bank of America making their statement about stable coins and CBDCs, digital assets essentially being the future of money. And we're also going to talk to you in depth about these cyber attacks that are looming. I'm going to show you guys a couple things that's really, really pressing, a little disturbing, but we built for it. You guys know what's about to happen, so we're gonna get into it. Let me share my screen with you all, and I'm gonna drop a gem. Some of you may already know, some may not, but we're gonna drop that for y'all today. All right, can everybody see this?
Yes.
All right, cool. Appreciate you. So first things first. Steve actually dropped a vid the other day. I wanted to share that with you guys, but he already dropped it inside the Discord. So I want you guys, if you haven't already seen it, I want you guys to tap into that awesome vid. Steve goes in depth and he tells you guys about basically how Elon Musk was telling the world that Russia is doing cyber attacks, right? And it's affecting his SpaceX and Starlink. He's providing this service to Ukraine. And with him providing this service, of course, they're in arms against Russia. So Russia has ramped up cyber attacks, trying to basically cripple their internet systems. One of the reasons being, that's quite strategic in war, quote unquote war. Ukraine is utilizing the internet to be able to reach out to the masses, to the rest of the world. In doing so, they're able to gain support in financially, right? A lot of people, you guys seen it, firsthand. A lot of people were donating money via crypto and they were sending it to Ukraine. In doing so, it was helping fund the war, helping them protect themselves against Russia. So what Russia was trying to do was trying to cripple their internet systems and stop them from being able to communicate with the outside world. Once you cripple that, you stop the funding from coming in. They basically have to surrender to you because then they have no more money to be able to fight against you. So this just goes to show you guys how strategic these guys are with war, but it also shows you how beneficial cryptocurrency can be, right? Just with the internet, you're able to communicate with people that have never even been to your country and they can support you, right? But I want you guys to kind of dig into this because we're talking about cybersecurity and certain cybersecurity practices. So this is one of those articles I need you guys to tap into. I'll make sure I share this with you all, so everybody can read it. I'm gonna hide this. So the next thing we're gonna talk about. Well, I'll skip this. I'll come back to this later. Actually, let me move this down because I kind of want to dig into that. They bugging, but you guys see the headline, so you already know where I'm about to go with it. But here, this is one of the gems that we already provided to you guys. This project is called Lossless. Lossless is one of those gems, right? Lossless is big in the Web3 security sector. So this project right here is going to be one of those ones you need to look out for. I shared this with you guys back in 2021. This is in December. So anybody that was here, that was early with the university, you guys got this gem super, super early, right? And you should be up right now. You should be in a little bit of profit. I believe at the moment, Lossless is about 33 cents. Yep, it's at 33 cents. So you guys should be, you should be into profit if you guys were here, one of the early members of Sky and Crypto University. But just to give you guys a heads up, and this was the infographic that was prepared back in December 21, and we shared. It says Lossless. The ticker is LSS, Lima, Sierra. Lossless is a hack mitigation tool for token creators. Lossless provides the ability to participate within the Lossless network. And because of this, those who actually hold the LSS or the Lossless token, they have the right to stake and therefore freeze fraudulent transactions, which will be audited and evaluated whether it was a hack or not. So it's has great utility, right, on the lossless network itself. But understand, with the increase of cyber attacks and all of this stuff that's going on, these wild hacks that's going on these different platforms, where people just leaving their crypto on these exchanges, this is one of those projects that has the ability to be super huge. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to run out and invest in it, but I'm presenting this to you. So if you do not know anybody within the sound of my voice, look into this project, do your research, do your due diligence. And if you feel like this is something that you're willing to get behind and put your money behind, so be it. But lossless definitely is one of those gems. So if you guys don't know about this, I want you guys to get familiar. And I'll also drop this in the link. All these links that I'll have, I'm going to provide these for you guys so you'll have them. Here's another thing I wanted to piggyback. So this is also part of Steve's video that he dropped for you guys. So Harmony partnered with Lossless, right? And this was back in July of 2022. So Lossless was able to retrieve 78 million stolen tokens from a Harmony hack. So understand, not only are we telling you guys about this stuff early, and we're presenting these things to you just to show you the value add as the market begins to emerge and grow, there's going to continue to be pressure by, you call them bad actors, right? Hackers, anybody that's in that field that operates on the dark web. These guys are going to continuously do their part because they know this is a newly present market, right? They know crypto is here to stay. They know blockchain technology is here to stay, but they also know that with anything that's new, there's always a barrier to entry, and then there's always a ton of people that come into the space and have no clue what to do nor how to protect themselves, and they are going to exploit it. So these exploits are hacks, and as long as we have anything that's digital, there are going to be cyber attacks, and there's always going to be risk associated with being just operating in this space. This is why we tell you guys never to leave anything. I don't care how much it is. Never leave any crypto on these exchanges, because at any moment it can get hacked, it can get shut down, the lights can go out, and then what happens? You lose everything you have, right? This is why we always recommend you buying a cold storage wallet, whatever you choose to purchase. They're both inside of the How to Protect Yourself security ebook. And we did put that on sale for $20.23 for the year 2023. So you guys are getting double whammies. You're getting the 101 freshman ebook and the ultimate guide to protecting yourself in crypto. But this project Lossless is also inside of that ebook. We're telling you guys about it as well. All right. So this is really what I really want to get into. So this is this has been sitting on me for a little while. I've been telling you guys about blackouts for the longest. Steve has been telling you guys about blackouts for the longest. And even before Steve and I knew one another, we were always abreast of what was happening. So this type of information, it sounds like just mad talk, right? It just sounds like somebody's just pulling this out of a hat somewhere. So for the most part, a lot of people don't really listen and take heed. I literally went back to my Twitter, and on my Twitter account, I've been talking about blackouts since 2016. Some of my tweets were actually removed, and I know for sure they were removed. So I'm actually going through my personal screenshots from different phones in the iCloud just to see if I can find some old things, because I screenshot everything for this exact reason. But I was telling people about blackouts, saying that it was imminent. There's power grids that exist all around the world, but especially here in the United States. If there's a storm or a tornado that comes through an area, a hurricane or anything like that, and it's able to disrupt a power grid, it shuts down the power, right? So what happens? The people who get affected the most are people who do not have generators. You do not, you might live in areas that's outside, that's super rural, right? Out super far away from major cities. And it may take longer for crews to get out to you to perform their maintenance to be able to cut your power back on. So it just led me to think, okay, the world is transitioning rapidly and there's so much going on, but the world is shifting financially, all digital. So I'm like, okay, what is something that would ultimately affect everybody? No matter who you are, as long as you have internet connection in the year 2023, which is damn near everybody, you are potentially going to be affected. So I said, let me do some digging. So I go back a couple months just because I know anytime there's talks of something, it's programming, right? You're being forewarned before things happen. And things are really starting to heat up, right? With all these exchange hacks and everything going on. I said the one thing that is really, really going to be insane for the world would be, now that we have digital banking, online banking, mobile banking, what is one way that you could cause absolute catastrophe in the world that would affect everybody and how we operate? And I said a cyber attack that would affect banks and people's money, right? You kill the power. No power means people's not going to be able to operate in banks, right? And you would think a large bank. I was just in Target the other day and the power went out. It was raining super bad. It ended up knocking out the power for blocks and blocks and blocks, right? So I'm talking gas stations, I'm talking Publix, I'm talking Staples, just everything that was in this quadrant, everything, power was out. So I just started thinking about stuff and I said, you know what? This would be ill for .connect. So check this out. I want y'all to see this. Give me 1 second, y'all.
The magnitude of Russia's cyber capacity, based on evolving intelligence, Russia may be planning a cyber attack against us. As I said, the magnitude of Russia's cyber capacity is fairly consequential, and it's coming.
So you heard him. He said it's coming.
Based on evolving intelligence, Russia may be planning a cyber attack against us. As I said, the magnitude of Russia's cyber capacity is fairly consequential, and it's coming.
Right? So this is supposed to be the leader of the free world, right? This is the guy that you're supposed to get the most pertinent information from, right? He's telling you what's happening. Now think about this, connect this. Ukraine is at odds with Russia, right? Russia doesn't respect the power of the United States anymore because of who's in office. We support Ukraine. Financially, you see we're sending arms over there. We're sending troops towards that area of the world. And we're just basically providing a ton of support, right? So we're backing the Ukraine. With all this going on, you hear him say to the masses, right? And this was a formal address saying cyber attacks are coming. They're imminent. This article right here literally warns, this was in March 21st of 2022. This article says it's coming. The same thing I just pointed out. You have to be really, really, really locked in to what people say. There's certain things that they say that should grab your attention off the bat. When you hear the president of the United States say that it's coming, he's telling you it's coming. You're being forewarned. At that moment in time, it is up to you to do with that information as you wish. Me, I know when I hear something, just like you guys hear us tell you guys anything about crypto, just life things, and when we drop gems for you guys, you take heed to it, right? But a lot of times when it comes to media, the world just plays oblivious. They act like they didn't hear it or they don't want to hear it, right? It's so many distractions, i.e. the phone. You're on these phones, these devices each and every day, watching TV shows, things that don't like plus up your existence, right? They don't add value to your life. So you're literally off your square. You're not paying attention. So when gems like this are dropped, fair enough, right? So now let's take it a step further. Everybody that's on this call that's in the 1% group, we've told you guys so many times about blackouts. We told you guys what to do with your cold storage devices, how to protect them, right? Putting them in electromagnetic pulse bags, locking up, securing your private keys, all types of things, right? Backup generators, backup food, keeping cash on hand. We've been down that road, right? And we consistently bring this stuff to you guys on purpose. So now check this out. This next person I'm about to show a clip to you guys. This is Charles Schwab. He is the founder of the World Economic Forum. This is the gentleman who you see behind the phrase, "You will own nothing and be happy," and you will eat bugs, right? And you already see it happening. They're trying to present bugs as a alternative source of protein, right? Food. They're duplicating food. You guys are seeing all of this stuff happen. They're creating different types of foods for people to eat that have no nutritional value, right? It's pure insanity. So this is why we always tell you guys, be mindful of who you're listening to. But when gems are getting dropped on you, it's up to you to take the information and research it. So this is Charles Schwab. He's the founder of the World Economic Forum, as I stated, and this is from July of 2020. I'm gonna play this clip for you guys.
No, but still pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack. To use the COVID-19 crisis as a timely opportunity to reflect on the lessons the cybersecurity community can draw and improve our preparedness for a potential cyber pandemic.
Yo, I truly, truly hope y'all are paying attention out there. Listen, he said, and I quote, "This would disturb the way life is tremendously. The fallout behind this would be insane," right? It would make the situation that we just went through over the past couple of years, right? I'm gonna refrain from saying that word. I don't want this video to get blocked or flagged. But that situation, we all know how grand that situation was as a whole, right? Especially while people were in it. Now the sentiment is changing, is altering, but he's telling you that blackouts, cyber attacks would affect supply chains, right? Supply chains affect food. It affects everything. You understand? Like from building supplies to foods to medical supplies to ingredients to just things that people need to survive. It will shut that down. You're going to have spoilages. There's going to be a ton of products and services that can no longer operate. You won't be able to get those goods or services because the world essentially shuts down, right? So when you guys understand how massive this is and has the potential to be, it should be alarming. But I'm not putting this out here to scare you guys. I just want you guys to be knowledgeable and be prepared, right? Because it's always going to tie into crypto and blockchain, right? Think about this. We have a blackout. You're not going to be able to transact, right? Your phones die. Your bank is down. You're not able to use kiosk at checkout when you go in the grocery stores. Things of this nature, right? All of this is going to affect you. your refrigerator, your goods that you have in your food that you have in your refrigerator, it's going to go bad, right? Common sense stuff. This is all going to impact each and every person within the sound of my voice, right? The people on this call live now and the people who just watch it. Everybody gets affected. And he says it would make that situation that we dealt with for the past couple years look like nothing. A small disturbance is what he said. So just understand what's in front of you. It definitely gets real. But there are one of those cryptocurrency projects and a blockchain that's associated with it that is able to perform transactions offline, right? Everybody that's in the 1%, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all know how I feel about that. We always drop gems on y'all. We always, give y'all that type of info. But, this is in reality, right? And right now, the position we're all in, it's super impactful. And it's almost scary just to understand that something is looming and it's coming, as they told you. And then you just heard Charles Schwab say, this is what we just dealt with was a small disturbance in comparison. Get your house in order. So to piggy bank off that, the World Economic Forum, every year they put out a report. It's called a Global Cybersecurity Outlook, right? And each year they drop this. So this was in collaboration with Accenture. And I want you guys to read this. So I'm actually going to drop this for you guys as well. This was with a ton. I think it was 100 plus. This was with 100 plus influential businesses and business leaders. I don't remember the exact number off the hand, but Accenture and the World Economic Forum, they did a partnership. And they do this. They basically try to prepare the world and try to prepare the people for what's going on, right? And they do this from a financial aspect, but you know who the World Economic Forum is. You know what they do. They have an agenda, right? So as they're quote unquote preparing us and bringing this data to light, this is all programming us. They're putting out this info to let us know what's going on. So these guys basically asked all of these global business leaders, and they wanted to see what was their take, right? So I just wanted to show you guys this graphic. This is insane. So it shows 93% cyber leaders and 86% business leaders, their contribution to this question. It says businesses and cyber leaders believe global geopolitical instability is moderately or very likely to lead to a catastrophic cyber event in the next 2 years. I'm going to pause. In the next 2 years. Now, it didn't say 2 years from now. It said in the next 2 years, you're being prepared and you're being forewarned. You're being programmed as to what is about to take place. If you're talking about, look at these percentages, 93% of cyber leaders feel this way. 86% of business leaders feel this way. But look who this report is from. And this is in collaboration with Accenture. Y'all not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me. This right here should shake you up a little bit because I'm dot connecting, but I'm giving you guys hard data that's telling you what's to come. Right? So this is another reason why we tell you guys when you're investing and when you're putting your money into place, right? This is two separate spectrums. On the investing side, we tell you guys, get in, learn the space, learn about these projects, learn about these people, these leaders, right? These organizations, what they stand for, what's their agenda, what are they trying to accomplish? When you look at this from a broad perspective, you're able to kind of see things a lot different than the average person who is just overly consumed with the internet, right? A bunch of distractions, TV, phone, whatever. Your mind automatically sees things in a whole different light, right? Literally the veil is pulled off your eyes. You're able to see things so much clearer. And then on top of that, now that you're informed, just as an overall person, right? Take away the investing. You're able to make more informed, more effective decisions for you and your family and your loved ones automatically, because now you're informed. You have the data, you have a timeline, you have expectations, you have clarity, right? Who are these people who's telling me this? This isn't just a conspiracy theorist. This isn't just some random guy with a TikTok account or a YouTube platform or whatever, right? These guys aren't just spewing anything. They're telling you certain things and prepping you. These are formal reports that go out to the masses. And these are global organizations that affect everything. Geopolitical, social, financial, all of it. Right? So I want you guys to really, really focus in. And even now, more than ever, at January 1st, I told myself I'm going to turn it up a couple notches, because this year is going to be a very impactful year. We have things that tie into the Black Swan event. So as I was building up, showing you guys, talking about blackouts and cyber attacks, what do you think the blackouts are that we talk about? We always tell you guys about the Black Swan event. For those who do not know, a Black Swan event is an event that causes massive, catastrophic consequences in the world, period, throughout all sectors, all markets, affects all people. And of course, somehow, some way, there's going to be some people who benefit tremendously from a Black Swan event, and then there's going to be people who are just affected, right? There's going to be people who, I hate to say it, there's going to be people who are going to fall by the wayside. They're going to get left behind. They're going to pass away. This is nothing to celebrate. This is nothing to be joyful about. But this is something that you guys all need to be focused in on, honed in on, and just aware, right? So when we tell you guys, listen, start looking into the World Economic Forum, start looking into the BIS, right? Start looking into these organizations. Who are the people behind it? Who are the executives? What do these guys stand for? It's for a purpose. We're leading you in that direction. Everybody in the 1%, you guys got 3 days of just incredible work, right? Real work. So if you're impressed by these dot connects, you'll be blown away by that 1%. And I know Wolf is on the call. He's in there. There's a couple people that's in there. Awesome. Andy, Jerry, I believe you're in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm saying is, listen, guys, just focus, right? I'm not trying to pitch nothing to you guys. I'm not trying to sell nothing to you guys. I'm just making you aware of all things, because this is about to get super real. These guys are not playing. They already have a plan, and they're telling you, they're laying it out for you. They're putting it in these type of documents. But who finds the time to read and research this type of stuff when they're consumed with other things, other distractions? That's why you guys are special. Everybody that's here, you guys are already mentally in the right space. You're here for a purpose, right? So moving on, I want you guys to see this. So this was back December 9th, 2021, right? They actually did a cyber attack simulation on the global financial system. The countries that were included was Israel, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, the UAE, that's Dubai, Austria, Switzerland. This is where Davos is located. Germany, right? The Eurozone, Eurobanks, the ECB, the European Central Banks. You have Italy, the Netherlands, Thailand, and then look what this says. I need you guys to really see this. As well as representatives from the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Bank of International Settlements. Hello? Y'all hear me out there? Hello? Yo, I'm telling you, these guys are all in cahoots. Everything we tell you guys is about interoperability, right? Now think about this. You have the elites of the elites. You have the banks of the world banks, right? This is the supreme dogs, right? They are the ones that are giving money to central banks. The central banks then issue money to the everyday mom and pop banks. This is coming from the top of the pyramid down. And these guys are doing literal simulations of what's happening. This was done a year ago. This was done December 9th of 2021. And this report that just came out, January 2023. What month are we in? January. What year is this? 2023. And they just told you within 2 years, right here, it is moderately or very likely to lead to a catastrophic cyber event. Telling you guys, please pay attention. Cyber attacks are coming. You're going to be affected. Those of you who are investing, make sure you're doing the right thing. You're investing what you need to. You're preparing your house for the uncertainty. You're getting in at these super low prices, right? You're stashing your cryptocurrencies and your investments. You're protecting them, putting them on cold storage wallets, putting them in magnetic post bags. You're protecting your private keys. You're not leaving your cryptocurrency on exchanges, being irresponsible. Like you're not giving anybody your seed phrases, all of this, right? And you're investing in yourself. You're investing in knowledge. The more you know, the better decisions you can make. All right. So next thing I want to tell you guys about Bank of America. I did a video on this, I want to say on the 23rd. This was also dropped in our Discord. So Bank of America, their research department, they put out a report. They said that digital currencies are inevitable, right? This came out on the 23rd. So they put together a report and it showed that digital currencies are inevitable and they're considered the future of money, right? It said they're considered the next step of evolution for modern monetary systems. So essentially, digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, right, and stablecoins are the natural evolution of money and payments. Now, this is put out by the second largest bank in the United States by assets. They fall into the number 2 slot, just under BlackRock. And I believe it was JP Morgan. Excuse me, it was JP Morgan. And then at number 2 slot is Bank of America. So if you've got the number 2 bank in the United States in terms of assets telling you that CBDCs and stable coins are the natural evolution of money and payments, what would you do if you weren't invested in crypto? You would invest, right? You would jump in. You would be present. Because what they're doing is they're setting the stage. They're telling you, right? We're about to transition from fiat currency and this debt-based system into an entirely new realm. It is going to be new. It is going to be disruptive, but it's going to be efficient and it is going to lower cost for everyone, especially us, the end user. When you are dealing with a type of innovation that's this disruptive, blockchain technology and cryptos as a whole, you have to understand everything changes. And we've been showing you guys time after time, people's jobs are going to be affected. If you're just sitting behind a desk and you're typing all day, you're going to be replaced with AI. You're going to be replaced with robots, essentially, right? Artificial intelligence is it. It's here. You have baristas. I just shot a video the other day coffee makers, literally people who line up every day and go line up for Starbucks, and they spend, give or take $12 or whatever the case is, right? On their venti lattes and muffins and all that type of stuff that they get in the mornings. But they're doing this almost every day. I'm seeing with my own eyes humans that are making your drink being replaced by AI controlled arms, right? Robot arms that are literally making your coffee the same way that a human would. How much do you think that robot, that machine is getting paid? Nothing. You don't have to pay the machine. So think about that. People's jobs and their livelihoods are being replaced by innovation. So when we tell you guys it's going to be disruptive, we mean it 1000%. It is going to affect everybody. I've even seen exotic dancers. They have exotic dancers as robots in a strip club in Miami right now. It's in the video I made. So if you missed that, I definitely want you guys to go back to the Discord and go check that out. It's mind-blowing because the crazy part about it is, like, imagine that. There was people inside the club, like there's actual dancers, there's female dancers, right? And then there's these robots. The robots are co-mingling and dancing. Imagine as innovation goes on, right? There's going to be more developments. There's going to be more updates, upgrades. That's going to make these robotic movements more human-like, more fluid, more smooth, right? Now they are adopting human activity, human behavior. That's what artificial intelligence is all about. So this is happening, y'all. And I just want y'all to understand, when it comes to crypto, like, think about that. They're going to be able to take money from people. Like, you got exotic dancers that's robots. How do you pay them? The head was a security camera, right? I don't know if this is the case, but I'm just thinking the way I think. If a camera is the head on the body, right? They can see who the person is, right? So now you have proof of who this person is. And you have this. You have a cell phone. This cell phone, we're going to be able to have the efficiencies in place to be able to make payments and transfers in a matter of seconds, right? We can make micro payments. So we can send dollars, we can send coins, whatever, all from our devices. So if you've got a robot, imagine a robot, you're an exotic dancing spot, right? And you want to pay one of the robots for dancing. They might have a QR code that may show on the chest or on the arm or on the screen, and you boop, and they continue to dance. This is happening, y'all. This is now. So when these banks, I say all that to say this, I know that sounds super wild, but it's happening now. And I say that to dot connect this to, listen, you have big, huge banks that's doing this right now, right? They're telling you CBDCs, stable coins, are the future. They're preparing you for the digital revolution, the new financial system, the quantum financial system. It's all happening. So people that's not invested yet, you can sit on the sidelines if you want, but at some point you have to understand this is happening with or without you. If you're an early adopter, you have way, way better chances of basically capitalizing off being an early adopter. You can easily become incentivized by investing in the right projects, right? Knowing what's going on. You do that by research and surrounding yourself by people like us, right? We're a community. Everybody's hungry. Everybody wants parts of what's going on in blockchain and cryptocurrency. We want wealth, right? We are going to attain wealth, and we're going to do this as a collective. The reason being is everybody's on the same mission. We're all hungry for information. So if there's something that I don't know, I lean on Steve. If there's something Steve doesn't know, he leans on me, right? And we find the information. We put in that time, that sweat equity. And then we also come to you guys. Certain times we might ask you guys a question. Sometimes it's not to teach you guys something. There's not a hidden gem behind it. We may genuinely be asking you guys something because you have to remember as well, you guys are the ones who's actually executing certain trades. You guys are actually utilizing, different methods of payment to be able to load stable coins or fiat currency onto an exchange so that you can invest into a project, a spot, or do trading with Steve. Right. So we're really asking you guys, we're leaning on each other. This is the synergy. This is what this is. We're all interconnected and we need each other because what's about to happen, it is going to take a lot of brain power. So with the brain power that we have, we winning. That's it. One thing I wanted to touch on, right? I kind of moved away from it, but in the last article, Bank of America was talking about CBDCs, right? Central bank digital currencies. In this excerpt from the Bank of International Settlements, this publication just came out not too long ago, right? And one thing it points out a multitude of times is the fact that central bank digital currencies are definitely going to affect cross-border payments. But outside of that, it lays out that CBDCs are a domestic product. They are a domestic design. I need you all to focus on that. Central bank digital currencies are going to be domestic products. They are meant to be utilized in a local aspect, right? A tight-knit area. So think about this. If we're going from fiat to CBDCs, I'm not telling you this is going to be your favorite mode of choice, right? There is definitely some resistance that should be had because CBDCs are not it's not free range, right? It's going to be yours, but you're going to have an authority that's 9 times out of 10 over it, where you're going to have rules and regulations that you have to follow, right? We tell you guys, Steve definitely is big on this all the time. We tell you guys about how, your it's the social credit system, right? How your behavior is going to affect certain things, right? Whether you have a points system that we have to follow. If you get bad rankings, like if you do bad by fellow man, if you loiter, if you're speeding, you're getting tickets, whatever the case is, right? Any little thing that they can to ding you, maybe that could possibly affect how you have access to your money. And if your money is digital, it can be cut on and off, right? Your access to it could be limited. There's multiple risks that come with CBDCs, but just so you are aware, CBDCs are domestic. So each country has their own, is going to have, just like they have their own fiat currency right now, each country is going to have their own CBDC. The toolkit came out in Davos, I believe it was 2018 or 19. And this was the Davos that Ripple hosted. Brad Garlinghouse was there live speaking to a ton of world leaders, right? Anybody who knows about Davos, it was one Davos that just literally ended. I want to say maybe a day or two ago. But every year there's always jarring information that is going to affect everybody that comes out. And at this particular Davos, Brad Garlinghouse is telling everybody about the toolkit, right? And then outside of Brad, just the World Economic Forum, they're talking about the toolkit. The toolkit basically gave everybody all the information that they needed to be able to create and execute and implement their central bank digital currency for their country. What you're seeing is right now, you're seeing that these CBDCs are being rolled out, right? They're having pilot programs, as you hear, right? We just had one that just happened here in the United States. And then there's happening all over the place. So as you keep hearing, there's a new central bank digital currency that just emerged, that is just letting you know everything that we've been telling you guys is happening now. It's being executed. for the past couple years, these guys have been working on this and they're now rolling it out. What's going to happen is each one of these countries that release a CBDC, they still have to figure out a way and a method to be interoperable with one another. They have to be able to transact. They have to have a platform that is country agnostic that will allow them to be able to transact cheaply, securely, efficiently, effectively, right? And it has to be beneficial to everybody, but it still has to be neutral. One of those players and one of those platforms that can be used is the XRP ledger. And the reason we say this is because there's a ton of information that's out right now. And for years, this is all they've been dealing with. But as we go further and further into the new system, the new quantum financial system, you guys are going to start to see all things happen. And they're going to happen rapidly because this is not by happenstance. This has been planned and is just now being executed. The plan is just rolling out. So as things continue to happen, I just want you guys to be aware of how these things are, what they are, and that they're still local, but they are going to affect us, the end user. So we have to know what platforms they're going to use. How are these things going to be interoperable? What different protocols are going to be implemented alongside, right? Because you'll also have to keep in mind that even though things are digital and you can now see all transactions on a blockchain, right? They're immutable. They can't be changed, right? But you can also see a transaction. Let's say I send Sundeja, I send her $1 million in XRP, right? So I could go right on the XRP ledger. I could pull up this transaction. I can see it by the hash, and I can see what time I sent, what form of currency I sent, how long the transaction took, the date, the time, the receiving address, the sending address, etc. Right? It's all there. It's all timestamped. But now think about this. I told you guys that governments are nothing but supersized enterprises. Do you think they want their transactions to be viewable on a public blockchain where any and everybody can see what they're doing? Think about that, right? You're going to have other countries that's still able to do this because crypto is global. But do you think if we're doing bartering or trading with another country, right, for a certain dollar amount, but then we're charging somebody else a higher rate, do you think the country that's paying the higher rate is going to want to pay the higher rate once they see that another country on the blockchain has this transaction? Of course not. They're going to be like, oh, we're not going for that. You guys just, just got this product from France for this amount, but you're charging us this amount. They're not going to do it. So then you're going to have public and private ledgers. That's where the XRP ledger comes on, right? That's when it comes to life. You're seeing these payment corridors, these payment rails. Everything is about cross-border payments, remittances, right? Where things can settle fast, quickly, at 100% efficacy rate, right? It's never been down since creation. So there's certain projects that are going to be associated with central bank digital currencies that allow each country's central bank digital currency to flow on and off, right? You're going to be able to make payments. It's going to be able to take your CBDC. You're going to use the XRP ledger. You'll use an asset like XRP. It will convert your CBDC into XRP, convert it into the receiving CBDC currency, and then the receiving country receives the payment. And this is done in 3 to 5 seconds at a fraction of cost. And now we're using things like SWIFT in normal banking. We're using things like SWIFT. And again, everybody in the 1%, you guys already know this, right? We went super in depth. But you're looking at super high fees, right? Transactions get caught up. Sometimes they never complete. And when they get caught up and trapped, that can be just because it's a holiday, the bank could be closed, somebody created the wrong tag or identification marker, so that the receiving country doesn't know how to really receive the data or receive the payment. So it's just stuck in limbo. What happens? Now the person who sent the transaction has to go back to the bank, go pay an additional fee, for the transaction to basically be rekeyed in, restarted. And it's just super inefficient because right now with the Swift system, there's only one messaging format that goes outward. You're not able to communicate back and forth. You're only able to send a message one way. Imagine having a conversation with somebody and you're only able to talk, but they can't talk, they can't say nothing back to you. That's inefficient and ineffective, especially in today's world. It doesn't work. So when you have these old systems, they have to phase out, they have to die, or they have to basically get with the new emerging technologies and they have to form a merge, right? They have to form some kind of partnership that allows them to update their antiquated systems. But these systems are so old and outdated, they've been around for years, that a lot of times they aren't able to do that. They aren't able to make the pivot. So the new systems come in, the new technologies come in, and they're super disruptive. Companies go out of business, banks go out of business. All types of things just no longer exist because they don't serve us. So when it comes to these CBDCs, there's definitely going to be pros and cons, right? But you guys have to really dig into a lot of these projects and just see what they're about. A lot of them are bad. Some of them have their benefits. So I'll leave that to you guys. It's open to interpretation. But I did want to point this out. This report was done in July of 2021, and this is the World Economic Forum, World Bank, Bank of International Settlements, and this was the report to the G20. So this is huge, guys. This is all of the major countries that's going to be involved, and they're telling each other how they're going to operate, how cross-border payments are going to happen when each country has their CBDCs. So super dope. Is really, really detailed, 37 pages. The other World Economic, the security outlook for cybersecurity attacks and things like that, that one was, I believe, 27. That one's 36. So that was 36 as well. So these aren't lengthy. They're just really, really detailed. So, I need you guys to take some time, tap into your bag and, start doing the research. And last but not least, I want to go over this. So who on the call, drop a 1 in the chat for me if you're familiar with the crypto mom, Hester Pierce. And y'all drop a 1 in the chat if you ever heard of her. If you haven't, don't worry about it. It's no biggie. I want to show you. And Wolf, you did hear about crypto mom. You probably just don't remember in real time. So this is the crypto mom, right? This is Hester Pierce. Right now, she works for the SEC. Let me get this out the way. Right now, she works for the SEC. She's one of the commissioners. As of right now, she's 53 years old. And we did see Linnell, you on point. So we mentioned her because the one thing I like about her as a commissioner is, and again, this is my opinion, this is my take. I feel like with the commissioners that are already in place, how crooked and how off these guys are, right? I'm not saying that this lady is perfect. I'm just saying that she really rides for the people. And this is the role of the SEC. Their job is literally to protect the investor, us. That's it. They're not supposed to have any additional crazy power, none of that. Their job is literally to protect this is one of their mission statements, is to protect the investor. So I'm saying all this to say, she is on record multiple times coming to our defense, our aid, on Capitol Hill and in a lot of these meetings with different regulators and just regulatory bodies, stating, hey, listen, you guys are behind. You're operating way behind the curve. This is ineffective. This will not work. You're trying to deem everything a security. It's nonsense. We need regulation, and you guys need to hurry up. So she almost takes the same stance that we do. When you have somebody that's cutting for you like that, I mean, it's always refreshing to see. So this is one of the reasons why I like Crypto Mom. She's pro crypto. She's all for it. And she's on record saying just a couple of days ago, I believe it was the 22nd or the 23rd, she actually said it. She basically was just like, listen, at the approach that we have right now, it's going to take 400 years for us to get through all of these cryptos, as the current regulators feel like all cryptos are securities. So we've been down this road many, many times before. We know that all cryptos are not securities. We also know that the people that are in place right now have ill agendas, they have ill will, they're getting their pockets lined, and they're really, really delaying innovation. Because truth be told, all of these projects are going to continue to emerge, and they're going to continue to do what they do, because if they're not, as a regulatory body, if you're not providing clarity and you're not telling people, hey, these are the guidelines that you need to follow in order for your company to exist, then people are just going to continue to create. They're not going to wait for a regulatory body to tell us what to do. They're going to continue to do it, which is why we don't have regulations right now, but you still have 21,000 plus cryptocurrencies. They're not just sitting around waiting. These people are building every day. While we're talking right now, there's somebody creating a super project right now. There's developers, there's brilliant minds right now. Hell, Steve right now, he's in Miami right now talking to projects that are better than some of the projects that currently exist right now. Right? They may do some of the same things, some of the similar tasks and things that certain projects do. They may have the same use cases, but they do them way better. This is what we've been telling you guys. Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? The 1 and the 2. What would be the third? In the past, it was XRP, but it was only in terms of market cap. So the same thing that Bitcoin and Ethereum do, XRP does, but it does it better. Way better. So I say this to say there's going to be multiple projects that emerge that are going to kind of come out from nowhere, is what it seems like. And that's because right now, while the market looks grim and it looks down like this, these guys are building, they're working. They're putting in sweat equity, and they're trying to bring something full of innovation. So I really, really like the fact that the Crypto Mom really, really sticks her neck out, and she does speak her mind. And even when the SEC, on multiple occasions, they've either misstepped or they've done certain things that wasn't favorable to the markets, and it affected us negatively, she's stuck her neck out. She's always championing the community. So I really, really like that. But this was one of those articles where she just basically feels like the regular itself, they're trying to create these rules, but the way they're trying to go about it is just asinine. And we all know this. And I still feel like this is a dog and pony show. This is all smoke and mirrors, because we've operated in this space since what, 2010. 2009 was a Genesis block for Bitcoin. So since 2009, there haven't been true regulations widespread for this entire market. And we're now in 2023. You know what I mean? So I'm not per se worried about regulations. I know what's going to happen. I do know that we need regulations, because a lot of these projects that do exist, they're not worth it. They don't do anything. They're just taking up space, and in a way that kind of harms the market itself and the investors, just the overall feel and the sentiment in the markets, because you have these BS projects that come out, PooCoin, right? It just random names, right? They'll come out before you know it overnight. There's a 87 million market cap. And then people are investing in it. They see the market being manipulated. They see the coin moving on different exchanges, and they just see how it's moving. So what do? Right? The uninformed investor, what do? You chase the green candle. You take your money and say, hey, let me gamble. I don't want to miss out on this green candle. Let me figure out what I need to do. And they shake the dice and they throw their money in the ring. And then what happens? It reaches a certain point, everybody cashes out, rug pull. And it's literally rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. This has been going on for years. So this is one of the reasons why we do need regulations. We need some sort of protective layer, right? To facilitate a lot of these projects and just basically really serve us, the people. But we also know that, a lot of times that's just not what these guys do, even though that may be part of their mission statement. So I just want you guys to read this article, go through it, but just understand the people that are actually championing, for you, for the space that you're currently in. Because again, you guys are early adopters. Crypto is still in its infancy stage. We're at about 4% now, 4 or 5% of the global population, and the market cap continues to dwindle. These last couple of days, we've seen an increase in Bitcoin, and of course, the rest of the market has reacted with it. It's a false pump. There was nothing special to happen. Just out of nowhere, one day, you just see, snap of a finger, Bitcoin's on the tier. Bitcoin was just at 15,000, hovering, just sitting for the longest. Nothing has happened. Nothing. And then all of a sudden, now we look, Bitcoin's at 22, 23K. This was a false pump. You know what I mean? Somebody might have put some liquidity into the space, but in my opinion, this is just another false pump. And I still am expecting to see a $12,000 to $10,000 Bitcoin. The rest of the market is going to go down with it. And listen, we're still not going to get past the Sam Bankman situation. There's probably going to be no resolve. There's other players, other exchanges, Duquan, these guys still not locked up. Some of these other guys are in foreign countries hiding. And nothing's happened. So until we get regulations, we can continue to expect things like this to happen. This is why we tell you guys, just be safe. You know what I mean? Not your keys, not your cheese. Keep your crypto off these exchanges, because I truly feel like it's going to continue to happen. But other than that, man, that's all we got for today. I wanted to keep it good, sharp, to the point, and let you guys know these are the things that's going on right now. And cybersecurity is going to be everybody's job. So just some tips before I conclude this Doc and Egg episode 21. Good cybersecurity practices. Change your passwords. I know we deal with a lot of passwords that we remember. We write down in our phones and we continuously use them across various platforms. Come on, we got to step it up. We got to get a little smarter than that, a little wiser than that. So change your passcodes up. Make sure you're properly securing them. They're not in your phones. They're in notebooks. Get yourself a cryptocurrency notebook. I still use them to this day. Right? I have multiple notebooks and I write down passwords, password phrases, password hints. Right? My private seeds, I write them down and I throw them in a vault. So you guys, that's definitely one of those things I need you guys to need you guys to understand what is in front of you, what you can do to protect yourself, and just better practices. Another thing that you can do is making sure you protect your seed phrases, keeping those away. Another thing is your actual cold storage wallets. Make sure you put those in EMP bags, electromagnetic pulse bags. You can find those on Amazon. We drop those for you guys, just so you guys have them. But they're little small, thin silver bags. If you've ever bought a hard drive or electronic device, something where you're trying to do an upgrade to your computer, normally those come in there. And that's what it is. It's anytime that there could be, let's say there's a blackout, right? Or they use this is actually a weapon, right? It's a war weapon. It's meant to literally drop. It's a huge pulse. You can't feel it. but electronic devices, laptops, phones, TV screens, computers, everything. If it's in a certain radius of an EMP strike, it will literally cause your entire computer to just go dark, go black, and you'll never be able to use it again. So one of those gems is putting your cold storage wallets inside of them. So when you put it in, fold it down, put it back in your safety deposit box or your safes or whatever, and just keep them there. You know, there's no reason to have them outside, especially if you're not using them. Never ever share your keys. Make sure you guys are updating your computer software, making sure you have the newest software updates. And one of the biggest things, and this is the easiest, clear your caches, clear your cookies. Just understand it's going to make you log back into everything, right? So it may be a headache, it may be inconvenient, but it's safe because as these like just Google itself, if you're using this browser, the Google Chrome browser, you know that they always have updates for you. And the more updates that they have, this is a protection for you, right? Because a lot of times there's exploits that's going on. There could be something that went wrong where there's a backdoor that has been revealed and somebody's able to put spyware or malware onto your computers and your personal devices when you're going to these various websites. And then now your information is compromised because people still going to access bank accounts and all types of things. So imagine if somebody installed spyware or keystroke capture software on your computer because of something you clicked on. Now you log into your bank account, they can easily log right into your bank account, make a transfer without you knowing, transaction done. Right? It's happened in crypto, so why can't it happen in the old system that's, just revolved around banking? So just understand that there's a lot of things that you guys can do and you should be doing just to keep yourself safe in this space and just in life in general. That's the most important thing. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Did anybody have any questions or want me to go into depth about anything? Or y'all can unmute yourselves so you could drop it in the chat.
Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, I forgot to.
God.
What's going on?
Peace.
Yeah, man. What do you see happening in the first or second quarter this year, as far as like the crypto space?
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird right now. So, quarter one is still XRP case looming. The space is still uncertain. There's a lot of FUD going on. We still have no clarity. We still have no regs in sight, even though they've been showing us multiple things going on in different countries that's going to ultimately trickle over here. I feel like we're going to have a utility bull run, but it's not right now. I think what's going to happen is we're going to drop first, and it's going to be a nasty drop. And this is even before the Black Swan. I just feel like we're going to see another decline, another dip. It's another buying opportunity for everybody to get whatever they need to. But I also feel like a lot of these exchanges, because it's happening now, a lot of these exchanges, they're already shutting you out. They're stopping you from being able to transact or be able to purchase crypto, right? You're seeing the Visa, MasterCard from KuCoin, they got cut off. You got exchanges like Coinbase basically blocking you out from being able to upload your debit information or get money onto these exchanges to buy crypto. So it's just a lot. And I just feel like with all this stuff going on right now, it's no true green in sight. But I think this is still part of the preparation phase because we're going to see at any given moment, this can happen today or tomorrow. The case can settle. And once the case settles, I think we're going to see some action, but I don't think we're going to see true price action. It's still going to take some time before we get that utility bull run. So I mean, I think the next run definitely is going to be utility bull run, but I still don't even see that happening in this quarter, this or the next quarter. We may not even eat this year. We may not eat this year. We might get blackouts, and the black swan might happen this year. You know what I mean? It would be just our luck. Just think about it. You got all these other countries operating, right? These other countries creating corridors. They're creating CBDCs. Everything is gearing up. You're seeing these pilot programs coming left and right. But look at the overall market. There's nothing significant that's happening. Nothing's going on. So it's just like, I mean, you might have to, I have to go look at the charts just to kind of see what's going on or what happened last year or previous years around this time. But it's kind of weird because, this is when bull runs happen. This month right here, like this January, February, around this time, this was when the 2018 bull run happened. You remember right after New Year's, everything cranked and went nuts, and then it steeply declined. So it's like, you know what I mean? You just don't know what's truly gonna come. But yeah, I'm a little bit uncertain, and I'm kind of on the fence because though I'm ready for this lag in the market to just kind of be over with, it just feel like we ain't quote unquote suffer enough. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it like that, but when you look at financial markets and you look how things operate, it's every couple years you have to go through downturns, and then right after the downturn, boom, that's when you get that super green candle. But it's for the whole market, the whole industry. And I think what's going to happen is it's not going to be the same like it was in the past. This time it's going to be the projects that, you know what I mean? It's not going to be it's not going to be the Doge coins. It's not going to be the meme coins. It's not going to be, just the frivolous coins that don't really have a use case. Not saying Doge doesn't have a true use case, because it is a flare asset. It's a F asset, but that was voted by the community. So I say that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Because decentralized finance is definitely going to make its way back, especially now with the Flare network coming live. The airdrop was executed. Did you get your airdrop?
No, I didn't get mine.
What? You had XRP back then, right? 2000.
Yeah, I have XRP. I had XRP for like at least 2-3 years.
2-3 years, 2020. Snapshot was in 2020. We'll talk offline. I don't want to take up too much time on the call, but we'll talk offline because I might have a way where you may be able to get some flare back. I'm just not sure because I'm working on the same thing with my other man. He just didn't partake. He didn't partake in the snapshot, and he had XRP since 2018, I believe it was. I put him on in 18. I was still in Afghanistan at the time, but I put him on and he just didn't partake in the snapshot, but he had XRP on his cold storage. So he might be able to be eligible for some of that airdrop, even though it already dropped. So if I find out some info, I definitely chime in with you.
Okay, so you don't know, do you know or not know the deadline of when you was able to take the snapshot, when the snapshot was taken?
So the snapshot was taken, I believe it was 2020. It was in 2020 or 2021. So whatever you had, how the snapshot worked was whatever you had at that time, they took a snapshot of it. Then fast forward, they were waiting for the network to go through its beta phases, its test net. Now they have their main net, right? Everything is supposed to be online at this point. They were able to drop the first 15% of whatever your snapshot was. So the value was supposed to be for every XRP, you were getting 1.003 of flare, right? So it was I remember it being late in 2020. I want to say December sometime. It was probably like maybe November, December, something like that. But is a while ago. This has been in the works. And what they did was,
December 12th, 2020.
Boom, December 12th.
Wow.
Good looking on that.
I got mine in 2021. I had a little bit in Coinbase, but like it was kind of weird around that time. They delisted like on Coinbase, like around that time, like 2019, 2020. I don't know what the hell happened to the XRP, but I bought more
Yep.
later on.
Yeah, that was the headache, man. And that was when a lot of things got delisted, because you got to remember they started the that month was when they launched the case against Ripple for saying they were selling, they had unregistered securities. And that's when the nonsense happened. So all these exchanges began to delist it, right? But you have to, I can't really get into that. That's a 1% thing. But those who know. But that's day one of our 1%. It basically breaks down the players, what happened, the whole story, and it's super intricate. And I actually pat myself on the back because I did a fucking incredible job on giving guys the timeline on that, so y'all understood when and how things were rolling, the connections, the partnerships, the meetings, all that stuff that took place. But the story is definitely told. I feel like at this point with this case, they already have a set of well, I could say this part. They already have the Hinman emails, right? The Hinman emails kind of outlay what's going on. Brad Garlinghouse just went on public record when he was at Davos, and he was basically like, yo, listen, we have the Hinman emails before they were able to doctor them up and omit certain parties and players and things like that. They have them. So this came out as part of the case. So as of right now, they're just waiting on adjudication. They're just waiting on the judge to come back, Judge Torres, or I can't remember the other lady's name. Damn, man, I should know this off the head. But they're just waiting on Judge Torres to basically come in and say X, Y, and Z, right? Ripple is not a security. Ripple is a security. Whatever they deem, right? That's what we're waiting on now. But that was the bag. The Hinman emails was it. That was definitely it. That was the one key element that they were waiting for. And now that they officially have it in their war chest and they were able to read it and dissect it, he went on record at Davos, at the World Economic Forum. This was just a couple of days ago. And he basically was like, listen, we got the email and it's disgusting, right? This is the reason. It's going to show you guys the reason why we don't have regulations. And it's, everything that we pushed, is everything that we said, because it's not hidden. That's the thing. If you just research and you're able to really put forth time and energy into certain things, you can see for yourself, like, yo, these guys are corrupt. This is why, we don't have regulations. This is why the nonsense is going on. And these guys had ample opportunities to stop it, but they chose not to. They were just getting their pockets lined. And I know you know this, but I'm just speaking in general. Like, this is why. So when I see articles like this where we're talking about crypto mom and she's like, yo, at this rate, it's going to be 400 more years, before we could get some regulations. But I still think all of this is just theater, bro. I honestly think this is all theater, because you got other countries that have super influence on how our money moves and how money is regulated and finances are regulated in this country. Right? The United States doesn't always have to say so. It comes from the UK. It comes from the crown. So as they made, the UK is coming out and they're telling you repeatedly that they have certain things in place and that we're about to get regulations. I more so believe that over it taking another 5-10 years before we get regulations, because this is happening. Whether people are ready for it or not, it's about to go down. So I'm just prepared for that. And I think at the end of the day, we still got a little bit of time. We still got a investment. We still got an investment time frame that we have to adhere to. And I honestly believe that's probably another 23. I don't know. I want to say maybe another 3 years before we able to truly eat. As by then it's a wrap. Everybody who's in the 1%, I know what time it is. Sundays, I got your message too. I kind of already gave y'all the answer. You might have to watch this playback. She asked, can we drop the gem about the coin that can transact during power outages, right? So it's deeper than just the coin. It's the platform. It's the protocol itself. So I don't know if you caught that. Somebody else can answer it. If somebody else answer it for you, then I'll repeat it. But if not, I want you to watch the replay. And Jerry, that was you. I look at the 4-year charts. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's one of those things. Nope, not lossless. Lossless was security. Lossless was when they partnered with Harmony, they was able to get the 78 million coins back. That was a gem, but that's not the project that's able to operate if we ever have a blackout. It's Jerry, you just unmuted. What you about to say?
No, it's actually separate from that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, actually, not quite separate, but I had something else in my head I wanted to put out there to you.
Okay. Talk to me.
Forgive my naivete, and plus, I'm sitting up here teaching my AI how to take over my job, so I might have missed some things right here.
Oh.
But I'm trying to get a mental picture in my head so it can get solidified
Mm-hmm.
for the outage. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that we are to put our resources into now in preparation? And then once the outage hits, what do we do with those resources that we've gained so that we can live or even just survive in this new scenario that we have now?
So with that situation, that's definitely is going to be one of those things where you have to assess your family, right? You have to see like the number of people that's in your family, right? If we were to let's say we lose we lose power, right? And this happens, let's say it happens this December. Just example, it happens this December coming up. You have 4 people in your family, right? Think about how much you spend when you go to the grocery store, right? The amount of food that it takes to kind of fill up your refrigerator, right? To your family's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about how you can sustain or food that you would need to refrigerate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that wouldn't need power for you to be able to prepare. So now think about it. We're talking about canned goods. We're talking about things that have long shelf lives.
Mm-hmm.
Buying these type of things in bulk, right? And you're just
Mm-hmm.
buying these things so that you have them for a prepared aspect. Now, I'm not telling everybody to go out because I don't want everybody to panic and start going out and buy all the bread on the shelves and refrigerate it and freeze it. You know, like people really do that. I'm not saying that by no means, but like I know with these blackouts, that was one of the biggest things that I'd seen a lot of people talk about. But it's 2023. So with 2023, it's just like, yo, now you got to think about things like generators.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if you have a backup generator or if you have multiple generators, you can sustain. But then, you know, maybe there's different types of generators that'll help you sustain. So even if we didn't have power, you'll be able to use a generator, and you may be able to burn something other than fuel. You know what I mean? You'll be able to provide it with something that will be able to burn and keep lights running for you and you and your family. Now you can cook. Now you can do certain things. You can charge your devices. Then you have devices that could run off absolutely barbecue. But you have things like going outside. You know you have sunlight, UV rays that charge certain devices. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have those panels, certain panels on top of your house, that can be your source of energy. Or you can go out. You have the devices where you have the winding. It's like a winding charger,
Mm-hmm.
and it's charged by solar energy as well. You know what I mean? You just sit it by your window or anywhere that can absorb sunlight. Once it hits the panel, it charges the battery within, or it's like a battery like coil, and then
Mm-hmm.
it provides your power for you to be able to charge mobile devices, computers, things like that. We used to use them on the go. So it's like little things like that. This is what I'm seeing a lot of, and I've been seeing this for multiple years. I kind of OD'd, right? I'm not telling you this is the best thing to do. I kind of OD'd when it first hit me. It was just talking about blackouts, period. I was bugging. Like I called my wife, like, yo, listen, I need you to go buy $300 worth of toilet tissue, I was literally sending her, telling her like long lists. I'll be like, yo, I need you to go buy, 60 cans of corn, go buy beans. My wife loves beans. So I'm like, yo, go buy 50 cans of beans. I was bugging, but it was because at the moment I was operating out of a sense of fear because it was new information. So out of panic, I'm like, yo, I don't know when this is going to happen. Like, go get it. So what ended up happening was we almost became like hoarders. Like my garage was like full of food and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. So what we end up doing is we end up giving a lot of that stuff away to food drives because it sat. So think about it. I've been in crypto since 2015. I was knowing about blackouts back then. So I'm waiting for more information to come because I'm thinking this is about to happen. Like the blackout is coming. It's about to happen right now. And then when I look back at it, I'm like, yo, I did that wrong. You just have to be prepared to know, like for your family, this is what my family requires to sustain, right? In my house, I do things like OMAD, 1 meal a day, right? I mentally prepare myself. One, I'm just losing weight, but I prepare my family like that. I'll say, yo, listen, once a month, we need a detox, right? Instead of us buying everything that we buy, because I don't eat pork. You know what I mean? But my wife and my son, they eat pork. So I'm like, yo, listen, don't buy any meats from this date to this date, right? Everybody's on the detox. So now it's all salads, it's all organic foods, it's all smoothies, fruits, things like that. Right now, that type of stuff doesn't have a long shelf life, so you have to consume it. You know what I mean? But that gives body an opportunity to adapt and adjust. But when it comes to like canned foods and things like that, that's really one of those key factors. Is like beef jerky. That was I know it's not probably the best, but beef jerky is one of those things that has a super long shelf life. Canned goods, things like that, and you're buying them in bulk and you have them on hand. So God forbid anything was to happen, you don't have power. You still have a way to get meals. You still have a way to get food. And then again, it's 2023. Anybody who can't feed themselves at this age without power, it's like, yo, you really got to tap back into nature and like the way things used to be. Like you should literally be able to go outside, rub two sticks together, create a fire with, whatever. Even if you didn't have coals, you could create a fire and literally put meat on your grill and cook your food. It's like little things like that. I'm gonna drop something for y'all too. It's a life survival training. So this joint is like I think it's like 2 weeks where it kind of teaches you how to do a lot of things. You can power certain devices without having fresh batteries, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty cool. How to tie knots, sharpen blades. This is kind of like a manly thing, but it's definitely one of those things that'll help you with just life skills. God forbid anything that was to happen, you would be equipped for.
How do you prepare currency wise?
So currency wise, it's a little weird because the world is we're in the middle of a transition. So knowing what's to come, right? The black swan, that the old system has to die, right? So if it per se dies, right, or when it dies, you're gonna have to go from fiat and whatever it's worth at the moment to digital currencies, right? There's no telling how this rolls out, but one has to die. The fiat has to die. So it doesn't make sense for you to have a ton of money and cash just around, but it also makes sense to have some cash on hand, right? And you buy commodities or convertible currencies, things that you can swap out, barter and trade, small denominations of gold, silver. So there's a Pyromet silver card that I used to buy, and that's a commodity. It's 999 silver, right? And it's on jmbullion.com, and it's called Pyromet. I want you guys to look it up. It literally looks like a credit card, and it's fine silver, pure fine silver. It used to be at about $20 a card, so I would buy them in like $150. I mean, 160 or $180 increments, and you were able to buy them using Bitcoin at the time. and you can pay for them with cash and different things, but it's able to save you money. I'll drop it in the chat. This is so dope. Oh man. So that's the website, jandbullion.com, and you guys can see it. You know, I'm not paid or nothing like that. You guys know I'm not incentivized by none of these guys. But a friend of mine, he was big in Forex, and he you know, he really put me on to you know, gold bars, kilos, and things like that. I was already in Afghanistan. So when we would leave Afghanistan to go on R&Rs, we would always fly through the UAE. So we were always in Dubai. So I would go to the gold souk in different places, and they had actual gold bullion bars.
Wow.
Yeah, so these guys, I was able to buy. I bought this was maybe 2017 or 18. I bought a kilo, a gold bar. I bought a bunch of Pyromet, the silver cards that you keep on hand, and they come with sleeve protectors. You know how you go into your bank and you get a debit card and they have the sleeves you slide your card into. So the sleeves come with the cards. So like I said, I would buy a couple of them at a time, and I just kept buying them. And after a while, I just stopped, just because I was under the impression that the dollar was going to just completely plummet and die. And I just knew in my mind it was immediately going to go to crypto. But now that I look at things, I think what's going to happen is they're going to kill the dollar. They're going to kill the value of the dollar, right? As you can already see, other countries are backing their currencies with gold. I strongly believe we're going to return to the gold standard, right? I really think we're going to have Basel IV implementation. Eli, yes, you can go ahead and drop them all. Wolf is going to do y'all a solid. I was going to go through them and drop them for you guys, but Wolf is going to drop all the links for today. I think what's going to happen is we're going to good looking, Wolf. We're going.
Thanks, Wolf.
We're going to drop off where we're currently at, this debt-based system. We're going to an asset-backed system. I feel like they're going to make a move that is going to eliminate the debt. We are going to not be the sole superpower, but we're going to be amongst one of the few superpowers that exist. But the petrodollar is already gone, right? So as you see countries backing their assets with commodities and things like that give it value, I believe that's what we're going to do. Because over the past couple of years, all of the countries that have been superpowers, they've been buying tons and tons and tons of excess gold. So I really, really think what's going to happen is they'll kill off the dollar. We'll somehow transition into this digital phase, but I don't know how long the transition is going to take, because we're already dealing in digital commerce, right? Everything is already happening, cross-border payments, everything. Remittances are already being done. You can use certain apps on your phone and certain projects to actually transact. Even XRP Ledger, that was one of the first places where you had a transaction where one country sent their gold to another country and diamonds to another country right on the XRP. So now you have to start thinking along the lines of what's the next step. So if they already told you stable coins, CBDCs, think about this. Tokenizing real world assets, right? If things are going to be digital, it's going to become NFT. They're going to be tokenized. So there's a video I just dropped. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday. It talked about, it was some rocks, and the rocks were able to, it was a plain rock, right? They took two ends of a wire, put it on both ends of the rock, and it literally lit up the bulb that was connected to the wire. So, and then they had one where it was one rock, it was literally touching the other one, and it was literally electrocuting the other rock. Just really electrocuting it. So this was in the Congo. This was in the Republic of Congo. And in the video, I laid out that I was just doing some random research. I started dot connecting. and their untapped minerals was in excess of $27 trillion or something like that. And that was untapped, right? So that's not accounting for everything that's already there. Then after I dropped the video, I'm still going. I see another video and there's literally a mountain of gold. It was in Africa. I don't remember what country, but there was literally a mountain and there were people on the mountain. It was a big hole. There were people out there with shovels and people out there by hand. You can see it every time he would hit the dirt and the gravel, you would see the shake come off, and then you would see more gold nuggets. Just all where people's feet are at. You just see it. So what you're walking on is literally a gold mine. And that's what I tell people all the time. It's like they lead you to believe that these precious gems are super rare. But in all actuality, that's how you were programmed. That's not actual truth. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get too deep into that on this Zoom. So we'll definitely save this for like a metaverse. But when I tell you the world is super abundant, super abundant in precious gems. We're talking diamonds, commodities, oil, water, everything. It's here. Like vast amounts of it. It's plentiful, is what that means. Like, when I say it's there, and I know a couple people who are out in AFRICOM, they see it all the time. You know what I mean? You're seeing these world leaders, these guys have reserves of gold all over the place. Bags full of gold. They've taken the gold, melted it down, made small pellets, little small nuggets. So it's pure, 100% gold. And this is in abundance all over the UAE, all over Africa. It's there. All these reports that come out, these reports tell you literally to your face, this country, just the Congo itself, 26 trillion in excess of, and that's the untapped reserves. That's just an estimate. But think about that. Think the market cap for cryptocurrency was $1 trillion at its, like we only had 3 at its peak. Think about that. So now when you start talking about the tokenization of assets, and you have countries that are considered third world countries that are poor, you start to tokenize the commodities, resources that come from those countries, and you start to back currencies by that. Now you have countries that were the tail that become the head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot. This is a lot to unpack. It's a lot to kind of dive into. So it'll kind of have you all over the place. But there's a lot of things that's happening. One thing I want you to start looking into is XLS20. I tell this to my 1%ers all the time. I'm not gonna give you no additional info, but just read up on XLS20. That's an upgrade on the XRP ledger. That deals with the tokenization of assets, turning tangible things into NFT'd assets, being able to conduct commerce and swaps, smart contracts, and all that, all through XLS20. It was a upgrade to the XRP ledger. So I want you guys to start looking into that. But when it comes to tokenization, listen, we about to tap into a whole nother realm. That's why I strongly believe the gold standard is back. And there's house resolutions that came about even when Trump was in office. Let me see, HR. So that's on taxes. Give me 1 second. Now I'm hype, and I want y'all to have this. I think it was gold. Y'all got me digging in my bag on the joint, doing a live doc connect. All right, so that's the use of SIPs. Gold standard, where we have gold tie. So this I'm gonna have to drop into the chat. This is they did gold bullion, gold bullion international. This was back in 2014. This was one of the first transactions where they used XRP to transfer gold. They minted and go, and it was the Canadian Mint was associated with the transaction, and they had custody assets also for Merrill Lynch. That was all done back to back to back, and it was in gold. That was all transferred on the ledger. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on. Give me 1 second. I'm getting closer because I see it. And all the G7 already agreed and signed back in 2019 about the gold standard returning. So we'll see, because they were talking about ESDRs and we're in a liquidity crisis. So one of those things was no more quantitative easing, which is when they just print money for no reason.
Right.
Markets beginning to fall and react to that. Then they sell off assets like gold, other commodities. And then the next phase was when they did the new SDRs. And they call it's called special drawing rights. That's something else you guys can look up and look into at your own convenience. And then it just talks about how the debt settlement and restructuring happens. And then the next phase was the implementation of the gold standard. They had what's called the new Silk Road economy. What else was it? I think they were going to do like a ban of world hunger by the United Nations in like 2030. It's a lot of things that are kind of coming into fruition. Where is this screenshot? Yeah, I really want you guys to see this. I know I have it in here. I was just literally reading it. No, I don't want to tell you that on this call either. That's definitely a 1% thing. I'll get back to you because I don't want to take up too much time on this joint while it's just recording and it's idle. But once I find it, I promise I'll bring it back to the group. And the crazy part is I was literally just reading it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep digging because this is gonna bother me until I find it. But did anybody have anything for me? Any other questions? Or any other points you wanted to drive? Boom, found it. Anybody in the chat? Y'all can unmute yourself. Okay. So before I go, I just wanted to show y'all this. This is a picture, but let me see if I can do this. So this right here, this is what I was talking about when it came to like the gold standard. Look at this. So this is a bill, right? The 116th Congress in 2019 to 2020, they presented this bill to the House, and it's HR 2558. That's to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. So when I was telling you guys, I don't know the current status of this, but think about this. If your if you're trying to fix gold or back the dollar by gold or with gold, you have to have gold. You have to have it tangibly, right? When we left the gold standard, we still were buying gold. It just the currency itself wasn't backed by currencies but wasn't backed by commodities anymore, right? So essentially, all you have is paper, literally paper. It's nothing. It's worthless. It only has value based upon what we give it, right? But when you're following their standard, they say now a dollar is supposed to be worth $1. Truth be told, $1 is probably really worth about 60 cents, 70 cents. But even then, it's not even worth that much, right? It's not even worth the paper that they use to print it on, right? So when you're doing you're trying to fix gold, the dollar to gold itself, you have to have the reserves on hand. You have to have them tangibly. So as over the past, I want to say, this is 2016. I want to say over like the past 7 years, all of the major countries have been plussing up their gold reserves and the amount of gold that they've been purchasing, like insanely. So why are they doing that? You only do that in two situations. One, when there's a nasty crash and you need to liquidate, right? So that you're able to convert your assets into liquidity, or you're trying to do something that everybody is doing, that all the other countries are doing, right? If you have a ton of reserves on hand and then you back your currency with the gold, and then you starting to see places like the Congo and different countries within Africa and the UAE, right? Russia is prime example for this. Russia and China, they did their partnership, right? And when they did their partnership, they was talking about backing their currency with gold. Russia did it. They successfully did it, and they left the Western world's way of conducting commerce, right? Their currency is backed by gold. Ours isn't. We're still not on the gold standard. So it's like, yo, think about that. When you got these big countries that's backing their currencies by gold, and then you have other countries that are just super rich in minerals and commodities, and then they begin to back their currencies with their minerals and commodities, automatically it puts them in a whole nother threshold. It's just the only problem that some of these African nations are facing is they're giving their land away for pennies on the dollar, right? So it's keeping them suppressed, it's keeping them poor and in adverse conditions. And then you're having other nations come in like China or China's a big one. China has a lot of land in Africa, right? And they have a lot of possessions in Africa, which is insane to me, right? Why don't the African people have these things in Africa? But you have different people from different countries that come in, they infiltrate, they take over, then they start bringing in heavy machinery, and they're taking the resources and minerals out the land, and they're enriching themselves and not the people that come from there. So it's just like, yo, this is one of those things, like, I don't know fully 100% how this is playing out. I'm still learning myself. I'm still a student of the game. But I do see it for what it's worth. My vision is telling me we're 9 times out of 10, we're going to either return to the gold standard, or they're going to start allowing currencies to be backed by their natural resources and minerals. And in a lot of these countries that were, super low on the totem pole in terms of financial and economic status, they're going to start to be at the top with the superpowers. And then things are going to change. It's literally going to go from us being a superpower to us just being one of the superpowers. And that's if they hurry up and do what they're supposed to do. Because right now, this debt is killing us. We're off the petrodollar, the gold standard's gone. We're facing a recession. Debt bubble's crazy. Repo market's crazy. It's just all bad. They played this game incorrectly, but this is, truth be told, this was probably intentional.
I was going to say that it's probably in their plans all along.
Mm-hmm. And these guys do 100-year plans, 50-year plans. So, they already know what's to come. They playing with us. You know, they're literally playing human chess, and we're the chess pieces. So, you know, that's just one of those things I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. And it was eating me alive because I couldn't remember what the code was. But I literally put a tweet out June 6th of 2021, and I did some dot connecting on my own with this bill. And then they talked about the buyback and the settlement with XRP. It's speculation. And I really don't want to kind of divulge and get all the way into that. But it basically is telling you how gold is going to affect a lot of things. And one of those things being debt. So if they're able to settle things and get XRP tied, because they talked about this a lot too, XRP being tied to gold. And then they're doing a settlement. So it might be a situation where, you know, in the past, when people had gold, they had to come turn it into the bank. If they didn't, they were fined or had jail time, etc. And they incentivized them. They gave them money, right, for the gold. And they kept the gold. Think about this. If you have XRP, right, and you have a ton of debt, and we're all going digital, and you tied one of the fastest, most efficient, the swiftest mediums of exchange, right, where you can transact anything of value with this particular coin, and you back it by gold, you can easily offset the debt with a $35,000 settlement of XRP, and then it's easily, hands down, debt wiped. So it's like, yo, just think about that. Just start to put those type of things in perspective. It may seem far-fetched now, but think about where we're going and think about what these projects do, right? Think about the use cases. Think about the parties that hold them, or the parties that discuss the technology behind it. And who's the one crypto company that you see at all of these Davos events? You know, they've hosted the Davos. They're a part of the World Economic Forum. They're partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? Even though some of these joints is a little sketchy, right? Super, super sketchy, actually. Not to downplay it, but just think about these big players, the BIS. Everybody that's been in the 1%, you've seen how we did this. You've seen how I dot connected and put all that stuff together. I literally laid it out for you. But when you just take a step back and you look at who these players are and what they're doing, and then how these technologies are able to disrupt the way that central banks that exist right now are operating, and it makes things more efficient for them, and they're not approaching things with, we're trying to wipe you out, but we're trying to improve the way things can flow, the way transactions happen, the way payments and remittances and settlements occur. You make things so efficient that it creates a cataclysmic effect across every industry, especially the financial one. Because literally, you guys know it, money rules the world. So as money is ruling things, and this is what people are doing things for, it's always been about the money. So if you now have a technology and you have a cryptocurrency that allows you to increase the propensity to get more money, right? That's carbon neutral, and that no more can ever be minted or created, it has to be valued higher.
Mm-hmm.
It only makes sense. So then now you start to think, dang, that's crazy. Right now it's 40 cents. What he's saying makes a whole lot of sense. It can't be valued low. The supply isn't large enough for everybody to have a certain amount, right? And you think about it, if only a certain amount of the global population is already in crypto, and only a smaller fraction of that utility projects like XRP and a couple others, right? But just specific, I'm talking about XRP right now. What do you think is going to happen to the price when you start to see more countries adopt? Because remember, 90% of Ripple's customer base that is into payments, remittances, settlements, effective transfer of value, you know what I mean, across a platform that's country agnostic, right? So it doesn't belong to one country. It's a distributed ledger that every country can use and everybody benefits from. It can't be 40 cents. So now you start thinking, oh snap, this joint could really be $1,000. This could really be, it was made to be 10,000. So then you start thinking, dang, if it was made to be 10,000, but the way of the world right now, you start to see things differently. Yo, the way of the world is in shambles. We need liquidity now. What does Ripple offer? Liquidity Hub, and they have XRP. There's no way it could be cheap. So when you start to look at things like that, you start to see it like, and then this is just outside of data. This is just common sense as you're able to see certain things. As it pans out, you have to start thinking expansive. Okay, boom, this could potentially happen. Why could this potentially happen? Oh, because this information said this. Oh, they presented this bill. If this bill is being presented, who is Republican Mooney, right? Who is he working with? This is all for financial services, right? And you know, in gold, it's hard as hell to be able to transact in gold. You have to have small denominations, you have to have small coins, things like that, right? But the world is buying gold bars, and they're buying tons of gold, and they're transacting this daily. So when you start thinking about that, like you start thinking about that type of stuff, and then you start factoring in real estate, right? The debt that's associated with real estate, how real estate assets, actual homes, like the home I'm in right now, can be tokenized, and through a smart contract, anybody around the world can purchase it, right? Now you start to putting things into perspective. Yo, the rocks could be tokenized, their minerals and their commodities. This is super powerful. This could be used to power whole cities, whole states. You know what I mean? And we're talking about a rock, an electric rock. Just imagine the power behind that if other countries start getting their hands on it. You start to move away from old gas methods and, you know, all the fossil, quote unquote, fossil fuels that they use, you know what I mean, to power and give you lights. Think about that. So as things get tokenized, value begins to increase. Liquidity begins to free up. It's not tied down into commerce with nonsense, because now you're able to digitize payments and transact them seamlessly in seconds with no downtime, right? Convert from your currency into XRP into the receiving currency like that. Gold, silver, tungsten, copper, vibranium. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff. Like, this is it's crazy. Like, when you start to think about this. So I just want you guys to start thinking expansive. Don't get so locked into how things look right now, because the world just looks grim. It looks nasty. All markets, all sectors. I don't think nothing right now is doing good. You know, crypto might have had its, you know, last couple of days. You know what I mean? But I mean, again, like I said, I feel like that's just a general fake pump. Right? It's just a fake pump. More liquidity comes in. Once the liquidity comes in a couple of days, you see it dwindle right back down to the 16K range. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things you gotta kind of keep your mind on, and start to just look past what you see, because there's every single day there's there's bills, there's proposals that's being introduced, executive orders that's being passed and written that kind of tie into the financial sector globally. There's like so much going on, man. But yeah, I've been supposed to get off this call. But does anybody have anything for me before I slide? Last ask. Jerry, thanks, champ. Appreciate you. Gotta go. Yo, Jerry, bless up. Good question. Appreciate you. Anybody got anything? All right. So I'm out the slide. That was episode 21 of Dot Connect Wednesdays. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Y'all have a blessed night. Good night. Y'all make sure y'all tap in to the Discord. We've dropped videos in there for you guys. And Wolf, he just dropped all of this for you guys, all the links for the chat. So you guys should have everything. And I'll have the playback up for everybody that kind of came in a little late and the people who couldn't make it today. So definitely have something for y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed it.